remember that about 2 days ago, INEC has been saying it is fully ready for this election. A lot of people have doubted how things will pan out, considering the CBN Naira policy controversies that we've seen over the last few days. Those who think that the fear queues will be impacting on the election preparations and all of that. But INEC says, logistics-wise, they are ready. There are all of those who are not also happy with the PVC collection, and they are still thinking maybe they could still have a chance despite the closure or the end to the deadline for the collection of permanent voter cards. I know you have a lot of questions on your mind, and as we're counting down to the election, you perhaps were thinking, do I have my PVC? If I have my PVC, what other information do I need to know? So send your views coming up, because we'll be speaking with Mr. Festus Okoye, the National Commissioner for INEC on voter education and publicity. I understand that there's been a lot of meetings at the commission today. So he will be speaking with us from his office here in Abuja. Thank you so much, Mr. Okoye, and it's good to see you. Been trying to track you from the Southeast, where you went for some of the exercises, and now that you are back. A lot of questions tonight that we need to ask, and let's get started. First and foremost, a lot of people would like to know, Mr. Okoye, if there is anyone who has not been able to collect their permanent voter cards, perhaps not of fault of their own, because a lot of people had tried to get their PVC collected, but they are not able. They got there and they say their PVCs were not ready, they couldn't find them, it has not been printed. Series of stories that people have told us right here on Channels Television. Is there any way or any help that you can give in the world for these kind of people?
Unfortunately, this commission can no longer extend the period for the collection of PVCs. This is because we have just 15 days to go to the 2023 general election. And our staff who are at the various local governments who have been the issuance officers of these PVCs have to move back to what we call regular programming. They have to begin to receive the non-sensitive materials and batch these non-sensitive materials in accordance with the registration areas or electoral walls and getting them ready for the D-Day. They have to also begin to make arrangements for the collection of the sensitive materials required for the conduct of this particular election. They have to also make arrangements for the places where we are going to house the ad hoc staff overnight before they are deployed at the first light to the various polling units. They have to also inspect the various polling units to make sure that the polling units are fit for purpose and ready for the 2023 general election. So we have so much to do, and we need to get our staff ready for this exercise. As you are aware, we have already tested the BVAS in all the states of the Federation to make sure that we don't have some that are not working. The BVAS has to be configured to each polling unit, and it is our staff that have to do this. So the issuance of PVC is not the only work we do. Yes, there's a possibility that there are a few Nigerians who, due to no fault of theirs, may not be in a position to collect their PVCs. And I want to say it's unfortunate, and it's not the intention of the Commission to disenfranchise the Nigerian. But we have to get a tabulation. We have to get a summary of the PVCs that have been collected in each polling unit, in each electoral ward, in each local government, and in each state, and then have the figure nationally to enable us make this figure available to Nigerians. We want to be very transparent in this election. We want Nigerians to know the number of PVCs collected. We want Nigerians to know the number of uncollected PVCs that we are going to deposit with the central bank pending the conclusion of the election. So there are so much we need to do, and we really need to get cracking. We don't have so much time in our hands. We are in a more comfortable position now than we were in 2019. But we don't want to be complacent, and we don't want to take anything for granted. That is why we have to get all our staff back to speed and back to their regular programming, and so that they can continue with the work of the commission.
So in summary, Mr. Okoye, there is no hope. No, anyone who has not been able to collect the PVC, it's gone.
Unfortunately, we are not going to extend the period for the collection of PVC anymore. The periods we have extended is sufficient, and we need to get right into the election and begin to do some other things. If we do not move our staff away from issuance of PVCs, other sectors that we need to take care of.
Do you have a summary of the collection rate and the collection details across the country?
As of today, we don't have the collection rate and the collection details. We have informed all our electoral officers in all the local government areas of the Federation and all the resident electoral commissioners to compile the summary of a PVC collection based on each polling unit, based on each electoral ward or registration area, based on each local government, and also based on state specifics, and forward immediately to the Independent National Electoral Commission at the national headquarters to enable us publish this summary so that Nigerians will know the number of PVCs collected.
So because of the allegations of politicians and their supporters will always raise issues as to the uncollected PVCs, where are those going to be deposited? Since nobody is collecting them now, are they going to still be housed at the INEC offices, at the LG or the state level? Or where are they going to be for the election? For those who are doubting or who have in their minds that there are possibility of these PVCs being used for untoward activities or for rigging the elections.
Well, if you recall, we had a consultative meeting with all the registered political parties in Nigeria. We also met with all civil society groups and organizations. We met with the media, and we also met with all the security agencies. And for all the sensitive electoral materials that the Commission will deploy for the 2023 general election, we agreed on a hybrid approach. We agreed that the BVAS will remain in the custody of the Independent National Electoral Commission, while the result sheets and ballot papers will remain with the central bank. And so at the conclusion of this particular exercise, we are going to deposit the uncollected PVCs with the Central Bank of Nigeria, pending the conclusion of the election. After the conclusion of the election, the PVCs will also come out once again, and the owners of these PVCs will come forward.
Okay, then. So let's
PVCs.
move into the issue of the BVAS. The mock accreditation exercise that took place a few days ago. For those who are wondering, perhaps I should ask INEC tonight, how has INEC been able to assess that exercise? Fair, good outing, what are the lessons?
Well, the first thing we did as an electoral management body is to test all the BVAS that we designed, to test all the BVAS that were supplied to us to be sure that they are in good working condition and that they are fit for purpose. We tested the BVAS that were supplied, and we discovered 0.5% just had issues, and all those ones have already been replaced. The second thing we did was to fix mock accreditation in all the states of the Federation, and we carried this mock accreditation in 436 polling units in 12 in all the states of the Federation. Why did we do the mock accreditation? The Commission carried out both hardware and software upgrade to the BVAS, and so we wanted to be sure that this hardware and software upgrade that we carried out was properly captured and was properly configured, and that is the BVAS is fit for purpose. I want to report that in all states of the Federation, those who turned up to carry out this mock accreditation, the observers that observed this mock accreditation both domestic observers and international observers, we are all happy with the performance of the BVAS, with the speed of the BVAS, and also with the upgrade of the BVAS. And we are confident that the BVAS we have now has speed, that the BVAS we have now is fit for purpose, and that the BVAS we have now has the capacity and the ability to capture the fingerprint of all registered voters, and if it's unable to capture their fingerprints, to capture their facials. So if we are unable to capture your fingerprint during the election, if we are unable to capture your facial, what that means is that you are engaged in identity theft and will not allow you to vote. All Nigerians who participated in the mock exercise are happy with the performance of the BVAS, and they have commended the Independent National Electoral Commission for the advances we have made in infusing and imputing technology into the electoral
testing
process.
the device, you're telling us that it is better than what we saw in Ekiti and Oshun. But in terms of the turnout of voters, it does look like it wasn't a very encouraging outing. Could there be a reason that I don't think this has happened, or how do you explain what happened on Saturday?
Well, the number of voters that turned up for the mock accreditation has really nothing to do with what the commission went out to achieve. If you look at the configuration of what we did, we deployed the BVAS to polling units that are in urban centers. We also deployed the BVAS to polling units that are in semi-urban centers. We also deployed the BVAS to polling units that are in the rural areas. We want to test, one, that the BVAS is fit for purpose. Secondly, we wanted to test the speed of the BVAS. We also wanted to be sure that the BVAS has the capacity to capture the contours of the face or the configuration of the face. And in all the places where we tested the BVAS is fit for purpose, and we are really, really happy with the performance of the BVAS. Not only that, we have also worked with the major networks in terms of result upload. We also wanted to test result upload in all these places I have mentioned. And I want to say that the upload was very, 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 very good. And we are now more confident with the BVAS than we were before. So I think that we achieved what we wanted to achieve. The number of Nigerians that turned up really does not matter. But in almost all the places, there was no place where we didn't have more than 20 registered voters turning up to come and carry out the accreditation process or the mock accreditation. And we are happy with the results we have so far.
Maybe for our viewers who are watching now, is there anything they need to do as far as their fingers are concerned? You remember in 2019, there were those school of thought, those who believe that you have to clean your fingers with your index fingers with spirit, methylated spirit, so that it can be read. You have to dab your face, you have to do this and do that. In preparation for that, is there anything that our viewers need to know as they prepare? I've seen online that people are already saying this is my election day kit. As part of the preparation of our viewers for the voting day, what do they need to do? Do they need to do pedicure or anything to just get them ready so that these devices are not rejecting their fingerprints?
Sherry, you are the one making these comments. They are not coming from me. So I'm going to respond to you based on the comments you have made. Now, we are still going to provide methylated spirit for people to dab their fingers with it in case it's unable to capture their fingerprints. But we have improved on the technology of the BVAS. In almost all the places where I observed and where national commissioners observed, the voters did not need to use the methylated spirit because the BVAS is able to read their fingerprints. And the BVAS is also able to read the facials of men and women that have carried out heavy makeup because it's able to read the contours of their face. And I found out that it is not only ladies that do heavy makeup, that some men also do heavy makeup based on what you have what we have pointed out. So the BVAS is able to read all the facial makeup of every individual. So we are slightly more comfortable with the performance of the BVAS than we were before. We learn with every election. We are not dogmatic about anything. We are not puritanical about everything. If there are lessons to be learned in any election, we learn those useful lessons and we apply those lessons. We have used the BVAS in almost over 105 off-cycle elections. And we have learned valuable lessons from these off-cycle elections. And we have inputted all those lessons into what we have, into the improvements we have made to the BVAS. And so we are very happy with the performance of the BVAS. And we are also confident that come February 25th and March 11th,
so the advice is that do not wear heavy makeup. So, so that you're on the safer side, right? Is that a good information for our viewers?
Well, if you ask me to advise, I would advise that people should wear moderate makeup during the election. I will not advise people not to wear makeup. Don't lead me into a territory that I'm not conversant with. Just leave me to be on the lane.
It's good, the advisory that we're giving. I mean, my thinking and my aim is that a lot of our viewers, especially those who are voting for the first time, there seems to be the anticipation and the anxiety is there. So it's good to prepare their minds towards this. So let's look into the BVAS and the safety of it. INEC chairman had said as much that there were being previous attacks in Ekiti and Osun, remote attacks on the server and the back end of INEC systems, and that INEC stood its ground and its ICT team to fight, to ward off these. What can you tell Nigerians tonight about the safety of the back end, the IRF portal, to all of these hackers? I saw on one of the occasions, in one of the election cycle, I think it was in 2011 or 2015, when on election day, there was a momentary takeover by a hacker of INEC website. And so these fears have always been there. What guarantees do we have this time around?
I think it is important to say from the outset that the BVAS works offline for purposes of voter verification and accreditation. So when a voter gets to the polling unit, what the voter needs to do is to be armed with his or her permanent voter's card. The presiding officer will harvest the last 6 digits of the voter's voter identification number or the VIN number and use it to call up the voter's data from the BVAS. And the BVAS will now read the voter's fingerprints or read the voter's facials. And if any of them passes, the voter will be given a ballot paper to go and cast his or her vote. Now, at the conclusion of election, when elections are over, when results are sorted, when the votes of the political parties are sorted out, I entered into from EC8A, which is the polling unit level result. The presiding officer will sign that particular from EC8A and also stamp it. The political party polling agents, if available, will also sign or countersign the result sheet. And then copies will be made available to the political party agents or the polling agents if they are there, and also made available to the various security agencies if they are there. It is at that moment, at the point of result upload, that you need network. Now, what is going to happen is that we have entered into a partnership, into an agreement with the major network providers for purposes of providing network coverage in all these places. Part of the testing we did with the mock accreditation was to test the strength of the major networks in both the urban areas, in semi-urban areas, and also in the rural areas. And we are satisfied with the work we have done. We are also going to embed the representatives of these major networks in our situation room, so that if there's any minor challenge in any place, they can also intervene and intervene decisively. Now, it is important for Nigerians to know that what the commission will transmit on election day are scanned images from EC8A, which is the polling unit level result. Nigerians are not, the commission will not transmit raw figures on election day. The scanned images from EC8A. We are also going to transmit the accreditation data from the polling unit. So there is a possibility that before the presiding officer even gets to the first level of collation, and at the collation centers we have 8,809 registration areas or electoral wards. It is possible that before the presiding officer gets there, the collation officer already has advantage of the already transmitted polling unit level result and also the already transmitted accreditation data. But the BVAS itself will be carried together with the result sheet to the accreditation, to the collation center. So the collection officer will have the manually transferred result and also the electronically transferred result from the polling unit and also the electronically transferred accreditation data. By IO processes and procedures, if there's a discrepancy, if there's a dispute between the manually transferred result and the electronically transmitted one, the electronically transmitted one takes precedence.
Right. But Mr. Okoye, I mean, the fulcrum of my question is about the attacks that INEC has seen over the time in Ekiti Notion, which INEC chairman has said that it's become a problem. Yes. The question is your back end now foolproof? What guarantees can Nigerians have tonight that no matter what hackers, they will try, but what are the measures you have taken to ensure that it is fully fortified? We're going to a big election.
Well, every platform is susceptible to attack. What is important is the type of defenses that you provide for your networks. As far as the commission is concerned, our defenses are robust. But you know, no army goes into a war by disclosing its defenses to the enemy. As far as we are concerned, those who attack our platforms are the enemy of our electoral process and the enemies of democracy. And we are not going to display, explain to them or even disclose to them the type of defenses we have provided or we have in place. What I want to assure Nigerians, and the chairman has assured Nigerians, that our defenses are robust. We have also engaged ethical hackers to attempt to hack into our platforms. And from what we have seen and from what we have tested, our defenses are robust, and we assure Nigerians that we are ready for the conduct of this election.
Okay, then. So let's go into another matter. The logistics of this election is very paramount, and there seems to be some controversies coming from Lagos State. What is the position of INEC as of today? There are some issues with the transportation unions in Lagos, which the activities of some of these unions have been banned by the state government. But the statement attributed to the INEC rec in Lagos has been flagged by some politicians, asking for the job of the INEC rec in that state, in Lagos State. But what is the position of the MC Oluomo, popularly called popularly called MC Oluomo, Mr. Olusanya, who is a head of some of the PACS union in Lagos? Is INEC going ahead with his union for the transportation of materials?
Let me just say this, that courage and competence resides in this commission, and that this commission will not succumb to blackmail, and this commission will not succumb to the antics of those who do not wish the electoral process well. For the 2023 general election, this commission is going to hire at least 138,000 vehicles. And we have hired vehicles in the past. This commission is going to hire at least 4,000 boats. We have hired boats in the past. This commission will hire at least 88,000 motorcycles. and we are going to hire over 88,000 motorcycles. Now, the commission enters into individual contract with the vehicle owners. We don't enter into any form of contract with the union. What we have with the National Union of Road Transport Workers and with the National Association of Road Transport Owners and with the marine unions is what we call a memorandum of understanding. It's the memorandum of understanding we have with them. We don't enter into contract with them. So the issue of the name of an individual being mentioned to the effect that the individual is going to provide all the vehicles the commission needs for the purposes of this election is just mischief, and it's just mischievous. We have contract with individual drivers. What the union do for us is that we enter into MOU with them, and sometimes in a situation where an individual driver absconds, they help us locate the driver. In a situation where a driver does not turn up on time, they know their members, they help us find out why the individual has not turned up on time. Now, it is true that in some states, the National Union of Road Transport Workers has been banned, but they do not convey materials for us. It's the individual drivers that convey materials to us. And so in each state, we deal with each state based on its own specificities and based on its own challenges and also based on its own problems. On the issue of Lagos, the supervising national commissioner for Lagos State has already briefed me that whatever challenges there are has been sorted out. But I want to assure the nation that our contract is with individual drivers. We do not have contract with the National Union of Road Transport Workers. We don't have contract with the National Association of Road Transport Workers, and we don't have contract with the marine unions. Our contract is with individual drivers that own these vehicles and provide these vehicles on election day.
So, I mean, let's get it clear, Mr. Okoye. Is INEC going with the Lagos State Park and Garage Management Committee led by Musiliu Akinsanya, popularly called MC Oluomo? Because you said you have arrangement with the union groups in Lagos. Is that the group that you're going with? Because I'm asking so that there will be clarity on the way and manner INEC is conducting its activities in Lagos State.
The point I'm making is that the National Union of Road Transport Workers do not own vehicles. Our vehicles are from the individual drivers. For each driver we engage, we sign an individual contract at the local government level with that particular individual who provides that particular vehicle. What the union does is that the union knows their members. So if, for instance, an individual driver that we have a contract with absconds on election day, the union can assist the commission find out where that particular individual is. At each local government area, the National Union of Road Transport Workers has their branches. Sometimes we embed them in our seat, their chairman or vice chairman in our situation room, and they also help the commission know what has happened on election day in terms of whether their member has turned up and whether their member has not turned up. But essentially and fundamentally, we deal with individual drivers in terms of contracting. We don't deal with the union because the unions do not own the vehicles. We deal with the drivers that have the control and custody of these vehicles on election day.
So quickly, I have about just two quick questions before we wrap up. And I'd like to ask frankly, because we are hearing stuff, have politicians been whispering to the ears of INEC of a need to postpone the election?
Postpone. Did you use the word postpone? Did you use the word reschedule?
Yes.
The chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission has been very consistent, has been very, very clear, and has said unequivocally that the period and the dates fixed for the conduct of the 2023 general election are fixed and firm. We have delivered over 80% of the non-sensitive materials required for the conduct of this election. Almost all the, in fact, over 70% of even the sensitive materials required for the conduct of this election are already with the central bank and have been delivered. On the 11th of February, we are going to begin the training of all the ad hoc staff that will conduct this election. And this training will go on up to the 22nd day of February this year. So in terms of preparations, in terms of getting ready, this commission is over 80% ready. So you cannot prepare so well and then begin to talk about rescheduling and begin to talk about postponement. Nobody is whispering anything to the commission. Anybody who is whispering anything to the commission is engaged in an exercise in futility. The commission is the only organ, the only commission, the only agency that has the power and the virus to organize, undertake, and conduct elections. And we are proceeding with the election.
All right, we are due for due to go on this conversation, Mr. Okoye. I mean, I've been hearing stuff, and there are those of the school of thought that the election might be rescheduled. That if INEC says it is ready, what about the average Nigerians who don't have enough narrow notes or who are still battling with fear situation? These are some of the talks we are amongst politicians. But quickly, we're getting some feedback, and I will take a short message from one of our viewers tonight, and I'd like you to respond to it quickly, Mr. Okoye, please, if you can. There is a mail, an email from Agbuduta Ejuro Ogene, and this is what he sent in as a message. He said, I did a transfer and I'm yet to collect my PVC because mine was not printed as told by the INEC officials. Can I still vote in my previous location with my old PVC? Just a quick response, Mr. Okoye, on that mail from our viewer.
Yes, that particular PVC is still valid. If his or her PVC was not printed and it was not captured by any of our processes, he can still use, I don't know whether it's a male, can still use the PVC that has not been transferred for the purposes of voting in the election.
All right. Thank you so much, Mr. Festus Okoye, the National Commissioner of INEC in charge of voter education and publicity. Thank you so much indeed for the time that you've given us tonight on the program.
Thank you so much.